It's currently 1:30 AM and you join us in the lovely Republic of Ireland in Dublin, where we're currently waiting for a ferry to take us on a over 2,000 mile long road trip across Northern Europe, starting in Dublin, going through London to Amsterdam, Spa in Belgium, down to the Nürburgring for a few laps, then Paris and all the way back up, which I think is going to be the best way to review my 2003 BMW Z4, which I have currently owned now for a year and a half. So we're about 2 hours away from London now. It's currently 10 AM and we're driving down to have some new Michelin Pilot Sport 5 tyres fitted to the car, ready for the Nürburgring, and setting a few lap times around it. And so far the Z4 has been great. It's quiet, it's comfy, the exhaust is all standard, nothing's been fiddled with. I have had the sound pipe mod done, which is a pretty common one for the Z4s, where you remove this piece of insulation, sort of sound deadening, and it means that you get a bit of a sound effect when you put your foot down, as you can hear. And that's all you really need. And currently been chilling all the way from Ireland really, and we've done a very lovely 40.3 miles to the gallon, which is extremely impressive when you think about it for a 3-litre car from 2003, though the Irish government don't think that, seeing as they charge me €1,500 of road tax a year based on emissions, which is ridiculous for this car, whereas obviously in England it's about £300 a year, so huge difference. Today's a new day and you join us on my way to my mechanic in England. He's going to perform a quick oil service in the car, get him all spick and span ready for the ring, and on top of that we're also going to be applying some decal stickers and stuff to match the other guys coming on the trip. So you join us on day 3, 4, I don't really know, of the trip. So this is where we meet everyone else now, and we're actually going for the European part of the road trip. So we're currently heading down to Dover. It is 6:35 in the morning. Very tired, everyone's very tired. We've lost everybody, we've only got one person with us so far, which is Smithy in the M4. My left eye's watering from hay fever quite viciously, which is really blinding me while I drive. Do you want to overtake me now? Well, no, I don't want to film the Fiesta. It's a new day and you guys join us in Amsterdam, where we're just poodling around town now, grabbing some food and some bits with some of the guys. This just brings me on to another point with the Z4 round town. So this car has got the 3-litre M54 engine, so it's a 231 horsepower straight 6, and to be honest with you, it's been very reliable to me. It's had a few coolant leaks here and there, but one of them have all been fixed, and again, for a 20-year-old car, nothing too bad, or no real horror stories on the whole. And obviously in weather like this, like, a Z4 is the way to go. And round town, like the 230 horsepower mixed in with the auto gearbox, it's great. You don't need any more than that. Obviously on the open road, that's where things change, and we'll come on to that later. On a Belgian back road now, where we'll be pushing the Z4. We're on our way to Nürburgring now in a minute, taking so like good example of how the M54 engine, great engine, reliable engine as it may be, on the torque front, it could do with a bit more torque. When you go for an overtake, and you're in something like a straight pipe Golf R with 500 horsepower, you do get left behind very quickly. I've heard the newer SIs are much quicker with the 30, 40 extra horsepower, especially in hardtop version, which is a bit lighter. But the caveat to all of that is this car handles beautifully. Roads like this is where the Z4 really comes into its own. You know, majority of the time when you're cruising about and stuff, it's a nice cruiser, but fundamentally it's not made for, you know, chilling out. It's made for these back roads, and on a road like this car is fantastic. Like the grip, especially on these Michelin Pilot Sport 5 tyres, is unbelievable, you know, and it's mainly because of the way it corners and handles. I can feel what's going on, and I've got confidence in the car, and out of every car I've owned, including the M6, this handles better and it feels better to drive. So you've got more confidence to chuck the car into the corner and know you're going to come out the other side. Really what the car lacks is an LSD. If it had a limited slip tip, it would absolutely fly through corners because they'd be able to put the power down a lot better. Even with 230 horsepower, you can feel that the car struggles without the LSD. So it's one of those things really. But on the whole, for a car of this age, for a roadster, it's great. So you now join us on the German Autobahn number 1, where we'll be testing out the top speed. Well, hopefully it will be a limited 155 miles an hour in the Z4. We've just filled up with some 102 RON fuel as well, so that's exciting stuff. I really don't know what to expect. I think I'll be able to hit the 155 mark with enough road, but we'll see. But the car is limited. Obviously, it's not been mapped completely stock. We'll put some premium fuel in. That's all we're running with, and it's just had a service in England, so we'll see what it's made of with the soft top. All I do know is it sounds like a hurricane when I go quickly because of the amount of wind noise coming through the seal here. So it's 10 o'clock in the evening, same day, and unfortunately only had a chance to go around the Nürburgring once, and we didn't even film it because it's the first go. I had the roof down, managed to do a 9 minute 3 seconds, which was decent for a first attempt, but unfortunately didn't get a chance to push it properly with the roof up. The second the wind got in the car at 110 miles an hour, the Z4 just didn't want to accelerate past that point. And tomorrow morning we're on our way to Paris, and the ring is closed, so we can't even go again in the morning. On track though, the car performed amazingly. I did not expect it to be that grippy. Like, it gripped 100 times better than my 500 horsepower Jaguar. And when I look at it first go, roof down, you know, 30 seconds slower than a 500 horsepower car, it's not bad going. And I feel like if the roof was up, if I didn't have all my bags and belongings and all that stuff for 2 weeks in the back of the car, you know, we would have been going around that track faster. I'm very impressed with the Z4, especially for a car that old. Performed faultlessly around that. Even the Jag overheated halfway. This, no, all good. And only used an eighth of a tank going around it at full whack as well, which was nice. So yeah, on our way to our hotel now for the evening. And then we'll be taking the very long 5.5 hour drive from Germany to Paris tomorrow to spend the day there.
Run away with me.
A milestone, and I thought, yeah, you know, I'm going to celebrate this. And I don't know what's happened to the wipers, but let me just try and use them. Ah, perfect, they've gone. No worries, no worries. Maybe one more time. Lovely stuff. Good lad. 150. Not quite the 155, but you know what? I think that's the best shot we're going to get on a day like this. Right, now we're on a lovely French motorway. I can talk through some of the reasons why I bought a Z4 over anything else. So obviously, car history wise, you know, CL500, the M6, the XKR, all big sort of two-door cruisers. I've never really ever owned a small car, let alone a car with only 2 seats. So I thought, do you know what, I'm going to go for it. So fundamentally, I've been living with the Z4 now for a year and a half. And it's been a great car, to be honest with you. You know, It's been a good drive. It's got the power, you know, for everyday stuff to and from work. It's great. You know, on the longer straights it's a struggle, but I can live with it. Also, there's loads of reasons why I went for this particular Z4. It seemed perfect because it had everything. Like, when I say everything, I mean the only option I think it's missing is TV, and I don't even know whether they had TV on the really early cars. But this one in particular has got the aero kit, which is super rare, which gives it different bumpers, splitters, diffuser, a little boot spoiler on the back. And this car on top of that has also got sat nav. It's a rare automatic, which some people don't like, but I do, because I do a lot of miles and I'm driving all the time, and to me a manual doesn't appeal to me when I'm using it every day. This car's also got electric folding and heated side mirrors, and they also auto-dim, which is unbelievable for a 2003 car. We've also got automatic levelling headlights, automatic lights, wipers, we've got heated seats, electric seats, memory seats, and most importantly to me, it's got the DSP audio system, which means it's got 10 speakers and the subwoofers behind the seats rather than the cubby holes you get in Z4s, which means the sound system is banging, especially on a road trip like this. That, on top of the fact that I've fitted wider rear 265 tyres on the back, means the ride is bearable. You know, I'm not saying it's anything or even remotely comparable to the M6 or the XKR or the CL in terms of how comfortable it is, but it's bearable. And you know, I can live with it. Does my back hurt now and again? Yes, it does, especially on long journeys, because there's no lumbar support, despite the seat being adjustable in a million different ways. I'm used to the little extension on the M6 to get your under thigh support, which this seat doesn't have. And also, when I first bought the car, because it was an early model, it didn't have any buttons on the steering wheel, which was very annoying, like having to reach over constantly to change the volume, etc., which did get to me. So I did have to find a facelifted car, nick the steering wheel off it and wire it all up, so now I've got that functionality to my fingertips, which is nice. Suspension, I believe, has been lowered by somebody at some point, but I'm not entirely sure. Handles pretty good. I think on the Nürburgring it was pretty impressive, like, you know, it was keeping up with a lot of stuff a lot bigger than it. But now we're going to continue cruising our way down to Paris to end the last bit of today, in the last sort of 200 kilometers we've got left of the journey. So stay tuned to find out more. So you now join us on the final leg of our journey back to Calais. And I think now is probably a good time to talk about other aspects of the Z4, like practicality, usability, everyday, etc. So obviously on this trip, it's been quite a big trip. There have been two of us in the car, which equates to a fully loaded Z4 at that point, with a boot full of stuff for being a week away from home. But, you know, it's no Grand Tour, it's no 6 Series, etc. You know, you're not going to get that much in that, especially if you're having the roof down and stuff, because you obviously need to keep the space free to put it down. And in weather like this, driving through different countries across Europe, you want to be putting the roof down. And then just in terms of reliability, then sort of moving on to that front, in my time that I've owned the car, it's been through weirdly 2 thermostats, so one failed, and then it's been replaced, and now it's been great. Then we had a top hose on the radiator, I believe, near the coolant bottle that went. Replaced that, and just before the trip, and he's been great. You know, I did have the classic roof issue where the roof motor filled up with water, and I had to replace that. And I can see it had been done at some point, so you can see that it had been replaced. Clearly, the roof motor was salvageable. We just needed a clean up, and it was working great afterwards. And then other little sort of gripes with the car, I guess. The sat nav now being from 2003 is not that great, and it doesn't always load. It decides it's not going to load sometimes. Not that I ever use it, but it's something that, you know, you think about. Especially also the CD changer, same front. Sometimes it doesn't want to play any CDs, but obviously I have an aux in here, and you know, I never use any of those things, so it's not a big deal. And fundamentally, on a long drive now, we've covered 1,590 miles since leaving Dublin, which is a lot of miles. Way over 2,000 kilometers, and you know, now I can't get the seat quite in the position I like, and then you realise it's a German car and the steering wheel is ever so slightly off centre, and you know, on long drives you do feel a bit, you aren't quite in line with the wheel, which it's not ideal, but all in all good. So you join us on the final day of our big trip across Europe. Currently done 1,930 miles, got about another 100 to go before we reach Dublin again. And we have been on a mission today because we're very late for the ferry, and the car's been doing 110 the whole way, I won't say whether it's miles an hour, kilometres an hour, because one's very legal and one's very not. And bombing it down, and that is what makes BMW great at the end of the day. You can just rag the crap out of it and it will take it till it blows a coolant hose or something. But luckily all my coolant hoses are pretty new, so we're doing well so far. Do I wish it was a V8? Do I wish it had a few more gears so it was a bit quieter inside? Yes. Am I having to raise my voice to talk right now, doing, you know, 80 again, won't say how fast? Yes. But at the end of the day, it's a soft top, it's made to have the roof down, so, you know, at the end of the day, it's also 20 years old, so, you know, you do hear a bit of wind noise around here when you start getting to more serious speeds. But fundamentally, I think the biggest sort of letdown from this generation was the gearbox being only a 5-speed, and it can be a bit slow to kick down. Like, you put my foot down now, you know, like a kick down pedal then, but it does take a while, and being 5-speed, it does really ring itself out, being only 230 pound-feet of torque-ish. The base lift, 30 extra horsepower, plus they also have a 6-speed gearbox, which probably does help a lot. Or you get the pre-facelift and you get a manual 6-speed as well, which is entirely feasible. But yeah, no, I think the only real downside to this car on a long journey is the noise inside. Granted, I've got the upgraded sound system, and when you turn that up, you literally do not hear a thing in here. It's very loud. But fundamentally, the wind noise, the fact it's soft top, it's not quite the cruiser it could be. It also is more unstable at higher speeds, but having the shorter wheelbase, despite the fact I've got 15 and 20mm spacers on it, wider rear tyres, you know, it is quite squat on the ground. You know, when you go around corners, it is quite firm, but fundamentally, it is a tiny car, and when you go high speed, it's not the most stable thing, you know, and we've got a fully loaded boot and stuff, and even then, it does tend to hop around a bit, even on Pilot Sport 5 tyres. But, you know, fundamentally, you want to change lane quickly, you're doing it way quicker than you are in a big two-door car, which is always nice. Fuel economy is still at 29 miles to the gallon, which is impressive considering we'll be doing extortionate speeds for, you know, a good 200 miles now. And that, by the way, has not been reset since I left Dublin. Anyway, we're now just crossing into North Wales, and get an update to you later. So, you join us today, which is a day after the trip. So we covered over 3,000 kilometres in the Z4, around 2,100 miles-ish. Of motorway driving, autobahn storming, track driving, the works. And he's come through, he's pulled through, he's here, he's not exploded, he's not on fire, and that's fundamentally why we like BMWs. But, you know, along the way we have lost a few bits of the car. For example, the wheel arch liner has disappeared, God knows where. I have literally no idea where it's gone. French person crashed into the side of us on a roundabout near the Champs-Elysees, but not quite there yet, so we didn't even make it onto it because we already had an accident. Crashed into the side and just drove off. Luckily minimal damage. My bumper bracket sort of gone God knows where, not really sure, and the bumper is held on by tape now because the wheel arch liner is also missing, which is probably a result of the French person who crashed into me in a Mini. When you compare this car to cars of its time in 2003, stuff like the Porsche Boxster, stuff like the I don't know what other roadsters there were in 2003, because they're not important, because the only important thing is the Z4, because you've got everything you need. You've got electrically folding mirrors, you've got sat nav, you've got heated seats, you've got electric seats, you've got the works. From a car back then that was a roadster design for, you know, being used at the weekend, is pretty damn fantastic. Compare it to a car like the Boxster, which has aged dramatically over the same period of time, and they're not even the same league really. Yes, the Boxster does drive a bit better than the Z4, but fundamentally this is going to be a better car to use every single day, which is what I do. I think the car where it does excel is obviously through the corners. The corners is where it really comes alive, where it really feels like a roadster. It really could benefit from a limited slip diff. I feel like the car would drive a lot better. It would power out of corners a lot better with that LSD, which it doesn't have, unfortunately. But I guess that's why the Z4M exists, and that's why you spend the extra money on it. But me personally, I prefer the look of this to a Z4M. I think, you know, I think it is missing the fancy bonnet of the Z4M, but I think the body kit, especially with the aero kit on this car, looks 100 times better than an M. And the diffuser, okay, it's missing quad tailpipes, but you know what? That we can get over that. We can get over that. That's it. That's my take on the Z4. I feel like if you want a roadster, if you've got, you know, you don't even need £10,000. You need, you know, £5,000. If you get a crap spec, you need £2,000 probably for one. Grab it. I mean, obviously, if you're on Ireland, you probably need €80,000. But why shouldn't you? I think it's aged really well as well. You know, it does not look like a 2003 car. at all, I think, you know. So yeah, that's my take on it. If you've got the money, you should absolutely buy one. Obviously get the 2.5 litre, the 2.2 or the 3 litre, because otherwise your car will catch on fire because the 4 cylinders are rubbish. But there we go. That is my take on the Z4.